Hey guys, welcome back. This is another Path to Mastery, and I wanted to talk about this game a little bit because it is my first time to really have a late game experience with Protoss. So I'm going to kind of walk through the first little bit of the game here, but I'll just put it on, I'll just let it go. We're in for an 18-minute video today, so buckle up. But basically, I got into this I felt late game experience with this matchup, and I can usually close a match out with like a big death ball of immortals, or I get a couple tempest or something like that. But usually, like when I show up with like a big army of like charge a lot of Mortal Archon, it's just like I get a GG and it's done. Or if I show up with like a couple tempests, they're like, okay, he's on third tier tech, I have nothing, it's done. But this is my first time I like got a mothership core, I got storm, and I had what I considered like a real death ball, and I got to like control it a little bit. Usually, if I get to this stage of the game, I just basically move that big zombie toss ball towards the other opponent, and it just, you know, kills it right out. But today was the first time I really had to like focus on controlling, and it was like still trying to expand and like get upgrades and macro kind of behind this control. And I really wanted to make this video because this is kind of a hard position to get into in a game, and it's really hard to practice something like this because it doesn't really happen too often. As I said, you know, usually when you get into like this spot of the game, the just a little bit loud for my ears. I'm like yelling, I feel. That's better. Usually when you get into this part of the game, it's like you're either way far ahead and you just like move across the map and it's GG, or you're really far behind and you've got like a tempest, but they just have like a whole crap load of stuff and you just lose. So I kind of want to talk about this, but I really wanted to kind of like talk about controlling it and how it felt in Tempest. So I'm just going to kind of like get up to that point of the game as ×2 so you can kind of see what happens and what's going on in the game. So I'll kind of get you to the point where I feel like we should start talking about this a little bit more. But right now I'm just doing like a standard build, getting blink at first to stop any drops, and then I'm going to expand out hopefully before the 4-minute mark. I got the Reaper, so I'm walking across the map. I'm going to get some more pot shots on his stuff and kind of get ahead from the early game. I see he's going Widow Mine, so I'm like, okay, I need to get stuff to take out Widow Mine drops, put a couple pylons out to scout for that. I get some stalkers in the main. I've got a sentry coming across the map, or an observer going across the map to see when they're coming out. Trying to just prepare for that, and then, yeah, 5 minutes I get my expansion. A little bit late. A little bit late, and I'm just watching for the move out. There's the drop. I see it. I don't lose anything. I don't think I lose anything. I lost maybe a worker. That was my very first worker I sent over. So yeah, I didn't lose nothing there. I see he's sending out SCVs. He's got a third base, so I'm just droning up my third base. He's got a massive production window. We're both just macroing out right now. Nothing big. Nothing big. Got a hallucination over there, seeing what's going on. Get more stuff. I'm gonna try to move across the map a little bit with this. Alright. See, he's got a whole bunch of stuff, and I just go home. So there's no reason to attack up a wall. I'm gonna get a fourth base, and I'm like, okay, well now we're getting to the point. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. We're starting to get to the point now where I've got, you know, 60 workers. He's got 70 workers. I've got some upgrades. +1's finishing. I've got +2, almost +3 now, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got almost, you know, 150 supply of Charged Thunder Mortal Archon. This is usually when I'm doing really well. So, drop comes in. This drop comes in. I kind of see it. Starting to lose workers now. Now I'm starting to get some damage done. Got some zealots. And then I'm going to catch his starport. Shebang. Shoop. shut down. There we go. Now we're going back to there. I gotta get some workers. I haven't gotten Storm yet, so maybe this isn't the best time yet. Sorry. This isn't what I want to talk about. Not what I want to talk about. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to get into a spot. So I see he's got like a 4th base up now. He might have a 5th. I'm getting +3. He's getting 2-2 finishing right now. Right now I'm ahead on upgrades, kind of, with other things. But now I'm looking at like, okay. I don't think I can close this out with just Charge Lot Immortal Archon anymore. Like, after this big fight, I get some good hits and some good stuff. I'm just watching it, staring at it a little bit too much. I'm walking through, I'm like, okay, I basically got a big chunk of his army taken out. Starting to take his supply depot and things down. And usually, at this point of the game, I just keep doing this. I just full in, we're doing Charge Without Immortal Archon all day, all night, and we're going to win this game. But he's got, like, a really good defense. So, right now, I'm going to try to get up to more workers and stuff like that. I'm pretty low on workers right now. I'm afraid he's going to start dropping again, so before I do anything else, we're going to get some static defense on all my bases. This is just, I really need to make sure that I'm going to be safe throughout this game. So I'm getting about two in each mineral line, just so I can be safe about it. And that's because I don't want to break up my big death ball. My death ball is kind of sitting in the middle of the map right now, but I don't want to have to send something home in order to defend a little amount of harass. I want to be able to keep my death ball in the map, on the map, and do damage. So static defense is what the doctor ordered. I'm getting Storm behind this. I'm getting +3. And yeah, we're just going to do this. So I'm going to spend all my gas that I was banking up during my cannon phase, and I don't have Storm yet, so I'm just going to get a bunch of Archons, as I really still feel like I can just finish this by bashing my face into him with Charge Without Immortal Archon. I'm going to try to get +3 and move out into his base with +3. So I see he's got a whole bunch of stuff. He's got mines. I still have a massive army, but I see that he's not going to like let me just smash him. So this is the part where I'm like, okay, I've got to make a decision here. And I start making this decision now. So I want to talk about getting to this stage. So when the Terrans started going for, you know, drop play, and I drop stag defense so I can keep my, you know, big ball together. This is just like my tier 2 death ball. It's not stalkers and charge lots anymore. It's Charge Lot Immortal Archon. But now I'm trying to get up to my tier 3. So I keep engaging with this. I try to get the map open so I can move across with this big ball of stuff. And basically, I'm just trying to keep map control. He's got all the vision on the map, but he's turtling right now, which I'm fine with. This is actually really good for me, so I can slowly build my army. So, I try to just engage, but that's just to keep the map control. As soon as I have the map control, that's when I drop those stargates and I start teching up. But I made a mistake before where I just kind of like threw my army away when I started making these tempests, and I'm not going to do that anymore. So I have to make sure that like I'm keeping him in his base, but I need to also have an army where he's not so afraid that he can just like walk across the map. So my lucky number is I make 3 of some tier 3 tech unit at a time, which is I'm making 3 of those tempests, and I'm waiting for so yeah, this is that I'm making the I'm trying to stay close to maxed out, so if he tries to engage me, I can still defend his army. The worst thing that's happened to me is I was building this army and I just died to a big marine tank push. So I'm maxed out now and I feel good about this. So I'm gonna wait until my whatever what the hell is that building called? Fleet Beacon. I don't make it enough. The Fleet Beacon finished, and now I'm going to start making my my Tempests. So I go Tempest because I really don't like carriers against Bio, because like one really good stim from a pile of Marines can like kill all your interceptors, and then if I have Storm and I storm the Marines when the interceptors are out, I kill all my own interceptors, and I've done this a lot actually. So what I'm trying to do now is clear up my my supply. So I want to keep not just pure Tempest. I want to keep a lot of different a lot of different like units out. So what I'm doing is I don't need zealots anymore. I want to spend all of my minerals on like new bases and more workers so I can get above the 66. That's what I'm trying to do. But with my gas, every time I'm going to be making 3 tempests. I've got the mothership core down, and then every time I'm floating gas, we're going to be making high Templar. And I also want to keep making archons. Not archons, but immortals. So I have some sort of a backbone to my party. But as you can see right now, I'm a little bit lower in supply, but let's take a look at what the supply is. He has 47 Marines, 15 Marauders, 8 Liberators, 3 Cyclones, and 4 Medevacs, 5 Widow Mines. I have 7 Immortals, 9 Archons. I only have 2 High Templar right now, but I'm getting Tempest behind this. So I've got a much stronger army. Upgrade-wise, I've got +3. He's only got 2-2. Well, 3-1. And honestly, he's going bio, so armor upgrades do count for a lot. But Protoss just hit like dump trucks, especially with this kind of an army composition. So it feels actually really good. He's getting +3. Just started it right now. I have not started. I'm sorry, I already have +3. I haven't started +2 yet, but I'm going to start getting more upgrades as we go along. So let's just keep talking. So again, I'm going Tempest because I kind of like having that range on those Tempests. So during like that, Zealot sacrifice to the Tempest gods, I'm just making Templar and getting Storm and Immortals and those getting new bases and trying to go up to like 70 or 80 workers if I can. So I want to see, once I get this kind of Death Ball moving, I want to show you kind of how I control it and what I'm thinking about during this. But basically there's 4 parts to this big thing. There's the Archon Immortal, the Storm, Tempest, and then there's the Mothership Core. So I'm going to kind of put this together right now in this ball, and I'll start talking about the control. But basically the roles, let's talk about what role each of those different parts is going to play in this. So my Templar, my Archons and my Immortals are there to protect my Templar, because I need that Storm to zone him out. And my Storm is there to zone him away from my Tempest. And my Tempest is actually what I'm doing damage with. And then the Mothership Core is basically just to like get any so here's what I'm talking about. To get any actual damage done. So the Immortal Archon kind of pushes bio back, and then I'm taking pot shots with the Templar, with the Tempests. So this is kind of the role. I don't have any Archons here yet. They're coming. The Templar are coming soon. So I'm making more Zealots because I'm kind of dumb. This is my first time really doing this. I don't really know what's going on, but yeah, he's trying to get Liberators to zone out my Immortals, and the Tempests just hard counter his Liberator count. So now the execution, you have to position your army in a spot that he's going to want to engage it like that. So I'm going to try to take out one of his newest bases, and I know his other bases are starting to mine out. So I'm putting it into a position where I know he's going to want to try to engage me. Trying to pull him away, just get him over there a little bit. Make more, make more, make more. Mama ship is coming across soon. So I'm just kind of staying over here right now. I don't think he really knows what to do about this either right now. Workers are all sitting down. So yeah, basically you have to keep your Tempest back, and I have just a couple charge lots to, again, kind of zone out what he's doing. So yeah, charge lot, Immortal, Tempest, Mothership Core, and then I'll have Storm here soon. So here we go. So here's how I really feel like controlling this. You'll see it here. So the charge lot Immortal is there to keep him away from my Storm. My Storm is there to keep his Marines away from my nice Tempests, and my Tempests attack his production. This is how I do it. I don't really care about, I really don't care about his, there it is, there's the Storms. So I lose all my Tempests, unfortunately, but I got a lot of damage on that. So just kind of committing to this. So let's see what's going on here. He still has 60 workers, but when I'm hitting his production, he can't. Oh, jeez, my game just kind of froze up. Oh, there we go. When I'm hitting his production, he can't make what he wants to make anymore. He's got all these Marines coming out, but I've got Storm to kind of hard counter his Marines. I'm pushing into a spot. He's trying to turtle up into this corner here, and I've got these Tempests to outrange everything. I've got this Mothership Core to kind of drag out his scans. Anytime he's going to try to send Marines at me, I would storm them. The Immortal Archon backbone kind of keeps everything safe. And then the Tempests just kind of do their thing. They take pot shots at his army over here. I can get into his production when I can, and it's just all about zoning him out and taking your time with it. I've got the lucky number of 3 Tempests at a time for me worked really well. But yeah, this last engagement here, I just kind of want to go back through it again. The rules of how all of this works, I'm just going to kind of put it on +2. These guys are here to protect this. And you make sure that you're attacking into a spot that he wants, so you force him to commit. So he's got all these Liberators, so my Immortals can't come in, but we have the Tempests that just kind of come in and shell away at everything. Very slowly we'll get our Storm up there. But really we're just waiting for him to try to overcommit or try to run into me, and if his Tempests aren't sieged up, my Immortals do amazing damage. If they aren't sieged up, then I just have to be careful that I don't lose them all to my Tempests, but that's why I have Storm. So here we go. One more time. I'm going to force him to attack. Storm, Storm, Storm. There goes all of his Marines. He can't do anything about it. My Immortals are pounding through. Then he's left with a bunch of Marines and a couple Liberators, and I just have way too much stuff. So this was my first like death ball I felt, where he had to, I couldn't just A move it or I would lose it, and he couldn't just A move into mine or he would lose all of his. This was about control and being careful. Was it good? No. I did really bad. I lost on my Templar and everything was kind of just not good. But it was my first time doing it, so I learned a lot in this, and I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit today. So I hope you enjoyed this. Next time that you are in a position where the Terran is kind of turtling up like crazy, I find that Tempests are a really good unit to have, just because you can outrange all of his stuff. But if you just have pure Tempest, a whole crap load of Vikings and Marines can just come up under here and stim everything to death. Marines are actually a very good unit throughout the entire game. But as long as you've got a backbone of a Immortal Archon in front of it and some Storm behind that, Mothership Core to cloak everything so he has to force out scans and not keep just getting more and more economy behind this, you do well. And again, don't attack into his, like, his mining is very important always, but if you're killing SCVs at this point of the game after 18 minutes, he's got orbital commands all over the place. He has what? 1, 2, 3... He has 3 orbital commands right now. I think he had a 4th down here. And they're all, if you look, he's all used the energy on basically all of them for mules. So he's still able to get a lot of work, and he'll actually start throwing away some of his SCVs. That's what I would always do. Throw away some of his SCVs so he can get a bigger army. You only need guys mining gas, really, if you have that many mules. So by having the Mothership Core, you force him to not use those mules for mining, but to scan instead. And then you get into his production, so after you get a good storm or 2 storms or like a big volley of all of his Vikings like this, he can't rebuild them. I got really lucky being able to pick off his fusion core so he couldn't get battle cruises and warp him back home over to my side. So this was a really good experience for me. It's hard to get this kind of practice on the ladder because it's one thing to just like tech up to high level units with a big bank on both sides and fight, and it's another thing to have it kind of happen naturally throughout the game, where your little advantages and disadvantages play into where you are at this end game, who has map control at that time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something. If you have any comments, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.